It's electric, the name, Spitfire. The minute it's mentioned, their eyes light up.
It's a legend.
Two men, one aircraft, and a love that has soared for more than 3/4 of a century.
A top plane as far as I was concerned. It was delightful. It was as though you could put your tongue out at anybody and dare them to do something, and then you've got something to fight back with.
As he walks past the touchstones of Australia's flying history in the RAAF Williamtown Aviation Heritage Centre, Sid Handsaker is about to be reunited with a reminder of his own time in the air when he served as a fighter pilot in number 451 Squadron during the Second World War.
Beauty. Lovely. So many thoughts, climbing up under the wing, getting into it. And the flights that I did, they were all very, very, very precious. Very precious.
Born in 1921, Sid Handsaker from Newcastle, New South Wales, enlisted in 1942, a time when Australians feared a Japanese invasion.
When the RAAF asking for recruits, I said it to impress my girlfriend, my wife now.
You enlisted to impress your girlfriend?
I did, really.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked well. I was home here for 2 years, did my training out here, and then I went to, got a call up to go to England, and I went there, and of course little did I know I was going to go on a Spitfire, so I did.
My full name is Charles Clem Jones. I enlisted in 6th of October 1942, and just because I wanted to fly.
You wanted to fly? That was your dream?
That was always my ambition. I really had no goal only to get in an airplane.
Just like Sid Handsaker, Clem Jones was born in 1921 and he's from Newcastle. After training in Tiger Moths, Clem Jones's service took him to England, then to the Middle East, and on to Malta and Italy, and into a Spitfire with the Royal Air Force.
It was hard to imagine that I was eventually getting to fly a Spitfire, and I did my first solo flight with 145 Spitfire Squadron.
Can you recall what it was like the first time you flew in a Spitfire?
Well, it was powerful. It was a Mark 9, and at that stage, it was the most powerful Spitfire around. So it was just a bash in the back when you opened the throttle.
Pushed you into the seat?
Pushed into the seat, yes.
Sid Handsaker vividly recalls the first time he flew a Spitfire.
When I opened the throttle, I just went back like that, in it. I had never been in a plane that strong, My other planes that I'd had up in flying hadn't had the power to warn you what it was like. So I just went up and did a circuit, come down and landed, and it was so good I didn't want to get out,
Clem, what do we have here?
That's my flying logbook.
In this book, with the cover Clem Jones decorated himself, is listed every flight, every mission he was part of.
What sort of missions did you do, mostly?
Well, as the war progressed up to Whitley, we became close support, gun strafing and bombing and that sort of type of thing.
He remembers one mission over Italy in particular, on the 19th of May, 1944.
When I passed out
When you
at
passed out?
32,000 feet. I was at 32,000 feet and I passed out because my oxygen had frozen over and you only last approximately 4 minutes at that height. So this went into an inverted spiral dive. The aircraft was spinning, diving down, inverted, and at 15,000 feet, I began to breathe because at that height you can fly without oxygen. I started to come to at that height and I just flew around until I collected my senses. I levelled out and eventually when I'd come to, I turned around and flew back to the aerodrome.
When you came to, what did you think?
Well, I can remember saying, oh my God.
As the entry in the logbook shows, that close shave took its toll on the Spitfire.
Kite, a write-off.
That's correct.
What do you mean by that?
The aircraft was of no use after the dive. It bent the wings and blew the radio up and all sorts of things.
How much do you think the Spitfire saved your life, that you were in a Spitfire?
Well, it's only too obvious that the aircraft could stand much more than it was credited for. If I hadn't been a Spitfire, I wouldn't be here.
Why do you say that?
Because I don't think any other aircraft would have stood the G-forces that took place during that episode.
Sid, what do we have here?
I have the logbook there, which is recorded every flight that I've done while I served 4 years in the Air Force.
This is an interesting day, 18th of April, 1945.
Yeah, that's right. I should have been shot down and killed there.
On that day, the young Spitfire pilot was one of many escorting 1,000 bombers, targeting a submarine base at Heligoland, an archipelago off the northern coast of Germany, as Sid describes in his logbook. So it says, light flak, sky full of our Mustangs and Spits.
Yeah.
That was you.
That was one of them.
Yeah. And you've also written here, hell of a mess below.
Oh, I saw it since the bombing, and then they rebuilt it all, but oh, what a mess.
Was it?
It was a shocking, you know.
What could you see when you looked and saw the bombs
Well,
falling?
the thing that I remember about it mostly was the way in which the bombs burst. The ones that missed hit the ocean and they opened like a flower. And I've probably written this in the book somewhere. And it opened just like a flower opens up. That's how far up we were, 25. A long way.
So did it look beautiful or did it look scary to see these bombs opening like flowers?
I never thought about being scared. I never, ever, I don't remember recalling being scared. I remember being, well, one of the shells come up underneath me. The concussion went off underneath me and just threw me up in the air like that and disorientated. Well, I knew something had stopped and it was the motor, and all I saw in front of me was 5 blades up like that, dead. And I was out 50 miles out from the coast.
And so you were falling through the sky?
I was, yeah, I suppose you could say I was falling from the sky. I had to recover.
When you were falling through the sky, what went through your heart and your head?
Oh, on my training of what to do. And of course the first thing I had to do was disconnect the drop tank. The Spitfire was a beautiful plane, but it had some awkward arrangements as far as fuel and that goes. And to get to it, you had to undo your seatbelt, get right away down, pick it up like that, and then get back up again to your seat and click everything in.
Warrant Officer Handsaker brought his Spitfire back to life, and he lived to fly another day.
How much do you attribute you escaping that day to this machine, to the Spitfire? How much did that help you, that you were in a Spitfire?
Oh, well, I never had any worries in that regard. As far as being in a Spitfire, I couldn't have been in a better plane.
What were the best things about the Spitfire?
Speed, manoeuvrability. It had everything you could possibly want. If I was going to die anywhere, well, that would have been the way to go in a Spitfire. It would have.
Why do you say that?
Because I know I would have given my best, and I know it would have.
After the war, Sid Handsaker recalls that he hopped on the wing of a Spitfire for one last photo with his beloved aircraft.
It was like partying with something that I was never ever going to come up with again, you know. Sad. And yet I was coming home and I survived. This was up in the middle of England. We took them to an aircraft depot and left it there, and I got them to take a photograph of me sitting on the side of the plane and to click that.
Did you feel like it was a parting with a mate when you left the Spitfire?
It was a parting, all right. I'd become accustomed to it, and I felt that I didn't want to do anything else.
But Sid Handsaker and Clem Jones did get to spend time with the Spitfire again in April 2021. More than just see the replica Spitfires in the RAAF Williamtown Aviation Heritage Centre, both veterans were invited to a party at the base to celebrate the centenary of the Royal Australian Air Force. What's more, these two men were approaching their 100th birthdays. Among the guests at the party, a Spitfire Mark 8, flown in from the Temora Aviation Museum by pilot Guy Burke. Sid even sat once more in the cockpit of a plane that he's adored.
Well, I always maintained, Scott, that when you sat in the Spitfire, you drew the plane around you and you were part of the plane. That's what I felt. I've never felt in any other plane, but they were just incredible.
What was it like to fly a Spitfire?
Well, it was like going from a team model Ford to a Rolls Royce, I suppose. That's the only way you can put it.
I like this comment here. A nice aircraft.
Yeah,
Are you talking about the Spitfire?
yes,
You're giving her high praise, huh?
yeah.
A nice aircraft. What made her nice?
Just the way you use the handle.
It is 8 decades since Clem Jones and Sid Handsaker served in Spitfires in the skies over Europe. Both men have lived into their second century. And yet, despite the passage of time, and because of it, they remain deeply attached to the plane that has become a legend, that has become a part of them. If you had your time over, would you do it again?
I would.
Why is that?
Because my love of airplanes.
Is it good to see a Spitfire again?
Oh, yeah, she's something that'll never ever die in my mind. Take her to the grave with me. A beautiful plane. I loved it. I love the Spitfire. I always will. And there'll be never ever a chance that I'll ever forget any of these experiences.